So I want to thank all of you for taking the time this evening, especially on this very warm evening, to come listen to our community presentation. Here's, I guess, but I think we've moved to a place that we're starting to develop some comfort with the program. The programming is starting to come together in the way that we originally envisioned. I think we've got a great developer team. I think everybody's here except Jake tonight. We've got Ben, we've got Chip over there, we've got Alexis over there. My name is Dr. Lawrence Capel. I'm the chairman of Peninsula Healthcare District. So again, thank you for coming out tonight and taking some time. We don't want to take too much of your time this evening. We just want to talk about what our vision currently is, and the developers will give you an idea of what's going to come next in the process. But most importantly, we want input from the community. That's why we're having this meeting. This is our second meeting in this particular phase. I think we had 4 or 5 meetings earlier on, but our second in this phase, and there'll be more on this. The project won't do us any good if it's not loved by everybody or most everybody. And that's what our goal really is in this particular program. What I'm most excited about is, one is more housing for seniors. We're not in an area where the age is coming down, it's going the other way. And we need to address those issues completely in this particular area. We're going to add about 377 units, give or take. It's going to address primarily seniors, and we're also going to have an affordable housing component to it. And in fact, the affordable housing component, when completed, will encompass about 46% of the program. And what a lot of people don't realize is, I believe, the largest affordable housing program planned in the Mid-Peninsula area. So it's not a small project, and that's also directed towards specific populations. Also, there's a hub that's involved. We call it the hub. It's a space that we've devoted to what I call innovative aging in place programming. And I will be on this one like a hawk. I want to see something that's truly innovative. I don't want to have another bingo game. I want to have something that really works for people of a certain age, that is innovative. When we envisioned this project many years ago, we wanted it to be the project that everybody in the country would look at and say, we want to build something like they have out in Burlingame. And so that's what the goal is. So with that, I won't chatter on anymore. I will turn it over to Ben, and he'll give you specifics on the program. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Larry. Before we start, I just want to, for purposes of putting this on our website, for the interest of more or continued transparency, this is being recorded. So if anybody has an issue with that, raise your hand. Let me know. If not, we'll continue on. So I can just do it. So what I'm talking about here is I'm going to outline the agenda for this brief presentation. There will be time for Q&A as well as a breakout session after around the boards to meet with the subject matter experts. So we're board chair Larry Capel provided the welcome already. I'm going to go through project introductions. We're going to talk briefly about the project goals, the project outreach that we've done, and then we're going to run through the plans, what our vision is today as we get ready to submit for our entitlements. And then we're going to, in keeping, I see a lot of, it's great because I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd here. So we want to keep that interaction going, and we'll talk about how to stay involved. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have an additional breakout session and have Q&A. Now let's talk about the team here. My name's Ben Rosenfeld. I'm with PMB. We're a healthcare real estate development company. We've been in business for 50 years. We build up and down the coast healthcare facilities across the continuum of care, which includes medical office buildings, seniors housing, post-acute care. And one of the reasons why we're really excited about this project and the opportunity that we have here is that it encompasses the entire outpatient continuum of care. And we're so fortunate to have these amazing team members assist us along the way. So Smith Group is here. They're the master plan architect as well as the architect for the MOB and seniors housing. Generations is here. Serena's gonna jump in a second to provide a really exciting update on their project. Their architect, David Baker, and then we also are working with Magical Bridge to help ensure that this project is designed for not only an aging population, but a population of all abilities as well, as that's extremely important to us. So at its core, the PWC, it will create a new paradigm of connected aging that improves lifelong wellness by keeping older adults connected to each other, to the broader community, and to care providers. And what that means is this is all independent living, and the residents here will all be seniors. Then there also will be new multi-specialty medical office building that is on the campus that will provide a very broad range of services. And then most importantly, what we're really proud of is, through the hub, which we'll get into more detail on here, it'll be open to the public, and it'll be focused on healthy and social lifestyles, as well as we'll encourage folks to take advantage of the robust open space that we have here, with a really unique opportunity with the hetchy. We can't build on it, so we're gonna program it for outdoor activities for all of the community as well as our tenants on the campus. So this is a really good graphic that talks about more of the higher level goals of the project. What we really want to do is create a vibrant, active community. At its core, there's going to be housing for a range of all income levels across that spectrum of income. As I mentioned, there's going to be indoor and outdoor amenities through the hub and through the medical office building. It's going to focus on physical and mental wellness. And then also there's going to be a clinical component, which is extremely important, and it's going to be clinical in the outpatient setting, which is more convenient and provides better outcomes for those services that can't take place in the outpatient setting. So now I'm going to provide an update on our project outreach. So we have had, it's funny, I was looking at my notes to try to figure out how many outreach meetings we've had. I know it's more than 5, and I think it's less than 8, but that's something that we're extremely proud of, as we've been involved in this project since 2017, when we were fortunate enough to be selected as the developer of this vision that the board set forth, or excuse me, that the district set forth. So at our last outreach meeting, we had some interesting feedback and ideas for the hub. So I was hoping that Alexis or Cheryl could come up and talk about the work today in the hub and the process that we currently have underway, as we're really starting to put forth some exciting programming. Yeah.
All right. I can do it now. So as Ben mentioned, the hub is intended to be a one-stop shop for anyone aging in the community. And I don't just mean older adults. I'm aging in the community, so is Ben, of all ages. So the idea is that this is a place for physical and mental health and wellness. It's a place to access all of the services that one might need. So in the past few months, what we've done is we've reached out to experts in the area, providers in the area, and some older adults and others living in the community to try and determine what are the gaps that are missing, what are the real needs, and we've heard some key things. We've heard that really the connection of services is really important. So the goal is that the district acts as the air traffic control for all of these services within this hub. And there will be a slew of partnerships that are providing those services that will be in a physical space in the building, and also in a digital space. So right now we are starting a second phase of the process to really determine specifically what those services are, how they interact with both research and tech innovation, given where we are in the world. And then we'll vet those once more with experts and older adults in the community. So right now we've got the big picture figured out, but we're working on the medium scale and working on how this works and what the exact services are. So stay tuned.
Thank you. And then we also have an exciting announcement.
I'll make this exciting. Hi everyone, I'm Serena, as Ben said. I'm with MidPenn Housing. For those who are not familiar, MidPenn Housing is a local nonprofit affordable housing developer, owner, service provider, and property manager. We are based in Foster City, so we have quite a few properties in San Mateo County, I think about 35. This is our first project in Burlingame, so we're super excited about the location, being part of this vision, being part of this team. You know, we are looking at sites that are close to transit, economic opportunities, parks, community resources, and this site is really a prime example of that. I guess the exciting update, I see a lot of familiar faces, but I think the exciting update that Ben was alluding to was that since our last community meeting in October, there was an opportunity for us to apply for project-based vouchers. For those who might not be familiar with that, those are housing assistance payments for qualified households earning up to 50% of the area median income. So what that means is that we're able to deepen the level of affordability for the project. So we were awarded 38 project-based vouchers, and our proposals for 152 units. As we go through the approvals process, we'll be finalizing our financing stack, which really allows us to start cementing those details, but we want to share that first with you all. And we thank the community for really speaking up and pushing for a significant component of affordable housing in this deal. We heard the needs of the community, and I think this project proposal really responds to that. Lastly, sorry, I didn't warn my colleagues I would do this. Can my colleagues in the room just raise your hand really quick? So there's a bunch of us here tonight. If you have any questions about our building or programming, we'll be around afterwards for the Q&A. And Sarah in the back there, she's our architect. So we'll be happy to talk to you more specifically about our component.
So now I'm gonna just run through the current plan for the PWC. When I talked a little bit earlier about the continuum of care and this facility and its role within the continuum, it's important not only just focus on the approximately 6.5 acres here, but take a broader look at the surrounding services that are there and how our project is complementary. So there's an acute care hospital, there's a assisted living facility, there's a couple other seniors housing facilities, there's a skilled nursing facility, and what our project will do is it'll fit into that existing system by filling an outpatient healthcare services gap, as well as more robust and independent living. And then, as we've talked about, through the hub, through the social programs, through the technology, sort of more of the healthcare light kind of programs that are just as crucial in the entire continuum of healthcare delivery. So that's another reason why we're extremely proud of this project and its role, sort of aligning with where healthcare policy is going and healthcare payment is going across this continuum. So what you can see here is, so this is the hub and medical office building. This wing of the hub of the commercial building will be for the hub. As you can see here, there's a paseo that connects to the Hetch Hetchy, which we'll show in a better view on a later slide. But that connects from the service entry all the way to Marco Polo. This is Mid-Penn's project towards called the Plan North. And then this is, and I forgot to introduce, this is Chip Gabriel's project, the seniors housing developer, who's our co-developer on this, and Chip's here to answer any questions about that. But this is Chip's project with approximately 225 units of independent living. So again, this is just looking down. This is plan view. Reorienting. This section is going to be the medical office building. The hub is going to be on this wing of the commercial building. One of the cool design updates since we last were here is we've sort of established this meandering pathway. As you know, the grade changes by about 10 feet from the Hetch Hetchy to the service drive for the hospital here. In the spirit of making this entire campus work for people of all abilities, this is meets the ADA grades. And one of the cool things about it is that it is integrated with the main pathway. So it's a really cool way to both provide access for those that are in wheelchairs, but also integrate them to the main paseo here, where there will be seating areas as well. And then here we have the Hetch Hetchy area, which is meant to be an outdoor space open to the public, programmed through our various partners. The potential there is really incredible. And then we have Mid-Penn's affordable housing project on the plan south there. And then this next slide just kind of further illustrates the connectivity and access and walkability. So the site can be accessed, so the campus can be accessed through Marco Polo and across the Hetch Hetchy, and then the sort of light blue lines. This represents the public space that will be accessible. So really quickly, we've hit on a lot of this, but I'm a chart guy, so for those that work that way as well, this is the current proposal. As you see, there's a 35,000 to 40,000 foot hub, approximately 1.7 acres of open space. The medical office building, again, medical office building and hub are in the same commercial building. The MOB component, it's about 150,000 feet. You can see here there's 377 homes that we're adding, which is, we're thrilled that 46% are affordable to provide that number of homes when we're in such a housing, scarce part of the Bay is something we're extremely proud of in terms of adding those homes. And one thing to mention in terms of net homes, so when we first proposed, we were at 10% affordable. And then since then, in terms of the net homes, we've added about 140 net homes, which is fantastic. And 140 affordable housing homes, which we think is amazing. So that is sort of the overall summary. Now we want to talk about how you can stay involved. And before we get into that, we want to run through the schedule. So the left side of this sort of is where we've been, and then as you can see from today is going forward. So we were awarded in 2017, as I mentioned, and we were fortunate enough to have Mid-Penn join the team as a co-developer at the end of 2018. We've been going through what we're calling developer-led community outreach. We are getting ready to submit our formal entitlements. That has its own process. We're going through, there's going to be an EIR, so there will be opportunities to review the EIR, to comment on the EIR. It's all very public process. There will be planning commission meetings, visioning sessions, there will be city council meetings. So by no means is the outreach done. In some sense. It's kind of just getting started in the formal planning and city process. We've been working through design. After we're approved, we're gonna finish our design, and then we plan to start construction at the end of 2025. And then we hope to be complete with all of our projects by the end of 2027. And then just something important to say again, the outreach is not ending. There will still be outreach and communications from the district, as there has been all along the way, and that will continue. And then also importantly, because we didn't make this point last time, but during construction, we as the development team will also be communicating with folks to let people know when major construction milestones are happening, and just so that people have a sense of knowing what's going on and what stage of the project that we're in from a construction standpoint. And then this is the formal how to stay informed. So Serena was generous enough to provide her formal contact info. So if you have any questions, you can funnel it through here or through her. I also have cards. You can reach out to me or Chip or anyone as well. And that is the end of the presentation, except for.
I'm not gonna miss a chance to say something at my last public town hall. Back up.
Yes.
I really thank all the people that are back here that we've seen so many times, and I wanna welcome the new people. I'm the CEO of the district, Cheryl Fama, and for the next 2 months, less than 2 months. So you talk about being with the project since 2017. I've been with the project since 2007. And there's just a couple points that were made, and I want to make sure that there are takeaway messages for you. I like this map because if you see, this is our Peninsula Hospital. This is the footprint of the land we're developing. And a question we got asked earlier is public money going into this project. And what I want you to know is that we have had a history of board members who have always protected that land as the asset of our taxpayers. So no, we're not building the project. We're leveraging the value of that land to create some revenue generation so we can continue to do innovative, needed services for our community. So that's, the district owns the land. It is our project, but we have a wonderful team of developers, and they're gonna be building it for us. So I wanna make sure people are aware of that. The second thing, and my board chair has been saying this to me since day one, what are the hub services going to be? And I don't want you to just build something like we can find all over everywhere. And then you heard a few services, maybe some childcare, maybe some day thing, maybe. Well, I want to assure you that, yeah, if you look, there's one of the charts back there has kind of a spider on it. And we went to national folks, did a brainstorming session to see what are the basic elements you have to have. And our reach has included age-friendly city people, experts, but experts not just in gerontology and how to grow old, safely, and certainly the blue zones, which we want to incorporate some of that. This whole purpose of this program is to help us all age to our maximum wellness. And the secret isn't, and I'm an old hospital person, the secret isn't pills or medical care necessarily. It's being belonging, it's being cared for, it's feeling that you're connected, it's socialization. And that's what we're trying to create. A comfortable place to live, but to very, not go to a big emergency room and I'm gonna go to this white building for care. It's right around you. We're gonna have blue zones, menus where we look at healthy eating. So it's going to encompass the tried and true and researched, evidence-based, good programs, but with Alexa's help, and she's my right arm consultant right now, we interview tech people that are writing software programs on how to help better continuous care between acute and outpatient. We talked to a venture capitalist who left from being a surgeon, is looking at how do you bring technology in to help take care of people better while they're independent and home. So we're looking at, there's basic things we're going to need, but how can we bring it up a notch? How can we build a facility that'll be flexible to adjust as things evolve? And if you told me, what exactly are you gonna put in it in 2010? It isn't gonna be the same thing that I think we need when we open in 2025 or what have you. So I'm very, very proud of working for a board and an organization that sees the vision, who wants it to be a national model. And I assure you, Larry, when you get that next phase report, it's not gonna be just what you have somewhere else. So yes, and then in final, we've got a great group, and I hope you have a lot of questions. And I know just Serena's name's up there, but I have a wonderful team back there. Raise your hands, folks. You know, the district office is right there on Truesdale. Go to our website, please, and reach out. We have a Peninsula Wellness Community website. And the other thing I wanted to take, I have a group to come to see something about the district. I wanna make sure you know we're not just about the wellness community. We've been around 75 years. We have a fitness center. We have an assisted living memory care facility. We're going to be opening up an innovative teen mental health drop-in center. And we were very instrumental in saving and creating the Sonrisas Dental Health Center in San Mateo, which I've been told by the CEO is going to achieve 14,000 dental visits, of which 60% are Denti-Cal or uninsured.
Actually, it's 70.
70, okay. So we're serving the population through them. We're working with the farm workers. And then I see Brian here. We have 2 homes that we purchased. Again, leveraging. Don't leave the money in the bank because we don't make any interest. Buy real estate in the community, turn them over to, and the Ability Path folks now run 2 homes that have 10 apartments, 5 for women, 5 for men, that are serving developmentally challenged adults who just need a little support. So we're proud of the spectrum of services, and I just wanted to do a plug for the district. So, but we're ready to answer any questions, so thank you.
You know, it's very interesting for me that like this project was, like as you said, 2015 and 14 it started, and the people they started, I don't see any faces. And the interesting thing is that my backyard is hospital backyard, and your backyard, I haven't heard. I just heard from my neighbor that there is a meeting tonight about Lenardi and CVS. And today I come here and I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I did not hear all this time. You said 6-7 meetings you had?
Yeah.
I literally, from my backyard, I open my gate, go to the hospital. I haven't heard anything. Very upset.
Yeah, I know we've got how large of a radius? Yeah, we've messaged to 1,000 feet radius. There are hundreds and hundreds of people on the district newsletter that we noticed. I'm sorry that you didn't get notice, but happy to answer any additional questions.
I guess, but I'm really, really upset.
Yeah, there, as I mentioned earlier, there will be other opportunities for you to hear this in public.
I have a multi-part question. I live down the street on Davis Drive, and I was in meetings pre-pandemic, so that's been after where I left off, so forgive me if the journey's, carried on. Is that the last time the city council said something to the effect of, we wanna make sure this project, basically serves the broad Burlingame community, concern over learning links, and I know that Ability Path is here, so I'd like to hear what happens to learning links and BSD if they're impacted, the Burlingame School District. And so would love to hear more about how this is gonna serve the multi-generations, and I realize this is focused, so it's sort of surprising, that's where I thought we were headed, with this project. And, again, the last time I think I was in a meeting about this was just pre-pandemic, so would like to hear about the grand plan. Obviously looking at that, I'm concerned about, learning links and just the magnitude of the project.
Yeah, that's great. That's a fair question. I mean, I could say that the Burlingame School District, as well as Learning Links Community Gate Path, they are not a component of this project. So we've devised our plan on the land that the district currently owns, Now, from a partnership perspective, as we said since day one, we believe that there's amazing opportunities to integrate with you know, specifically with the community gate path population on a programmatic level. We have not formalized any of those partnerships, but again, this is not just intent. I mean, at its core, it is, you know, by the nature of seniors housing, it is for seniors, but this is always meant to be all ability, all age, all income plan.
So as a follow-up to that, there was another mention, the city council asked for maybe like, and I don't know how this works, but housing for like nurses, teachers, fire, police. This is focused on retired, I'm assuming, retirement age or assisted living, rather than, am I wrong? I'm not.
This is
Chip, you wanna?
Chip Gable Generations. To both your questions, we are building age-restricted housing. So
Okay.
everyone who lives here will be over a certain age or have at least one spouse who's over that age.
Okay.
What that typically does though is that creates, our experience has been 80% of those people who live in our communities, we've been doing this, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary as a senior housing family-owned business. About 80% of those people come from about 5 to 8 mile radius. The other 20% usually has an adult child who lives in that area, so they're moving their mother or father to be closer to them. What that also does, that creates other housing because those people are moving from the area, so other homes open up. Our seniors project, it does not have, it's mostly independent living, so we don't have a huge employee base as opposed to assisted living, memory care, or skilled nursing. At our other communities, one of the things, to your first question, we work very much to make our projects very intergenerational. I've been doing this now for almost 35 years. I love visiting with our residents, both formal focus groups and informal focus groups. You know what the biggest complaint they have, most of them, is? All the old people that are here. And so we work very hard to find ways to get young people into our communities, to have our residents go volunteer, to engage, both from music, from arts, to working together. And so we look forward to programmatically working very closely with Community Gate Path, with the school districts, so our residents get engaged in their programs, and vice versa, they can come into our community as well and have that interaction. Because we don't want to build just a community for old people. We want to make this a thriving hub for the neighborhood and for the greater healthcare district. And that's our vision. We've done that at other communities. I'd love to, if anyone's in San Diego or Portland, some of the other bigger campuses we have, I'd welcome the chance to show you how we're doing that. To the point where we have I have an assisted living campus in San Diego, and in the assisted living facility, I've got a 25-child daycare from 6 months old to 5 years old in the assisted living facility. Here we hope that we can work with Gate Path and some of those things so we can have some of those partnerships and create that connectivity, which we think is very important for the health and well-being for our residents and the young people and the families that they're a part of that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a
of
technical, to the housing question, why seniors and not other? If you look at section 32,000 of the Business Profession Code, it defines what healthcare districts can do, and it's very specific. We can only build housing for seniors and employees. So given our location, given the age of our population, given the demographics, given that we're at the foot of the hill, given the amenities around as well as the services, seniors seem like the right way to go. But we even tried to say, well, employees, I've got the Truesdale, we have employees there, and it has to be just our employees. So we thought, well, seniors make sense. So I just want you to know that that wasn't an option for us on our land to do.
I hear, building this for the community, integrating, having aspects of it that can integrate all of the community. When I think of community, I think of also not only the aging population, but the younger population. I'm having kids age out of the school district. All I can see is the mass of traffic going in and out of those facilities. And already I live in the hillside area of our town, and I have to deal with, when I go out for a run, the massive traffic and people not following the rules. And having had kids go through the BSD, including BIS, and knowing already how difficult the traffic situation is there, I feel like I don't hear anything about addressing any of those concerns in all of this.
Yeah,
And that is a massive concern. Already our streets in this town are gridlocked. with school traffic, kids are unsafe and at risk every day, and this is going to make that even worse.
Yeah, the only thing I can add to that, that's a very fair concern is, we are, doing a traffic study. That traffic study will be included in our, as a part of our EIR, will be a part of the CEQA process and the public approval process. And we are also, proud of this from a environmental sustainability standpoint, but we're actively enrolling in what's called the Transportation Demand Management Program to promote alternate forms of transportation, multimodal transportation. And that is shown through the data to reduce trips, vehicular trips, and we're an active participant in that, as well as just in general, the parking requirements, the trip generation from seniors housing versus multifamily, normal, non-age restricted housing. Seniors drive a lot less, and so all of those things come together to hopefully calm some of those concerns. But I get it; they're completely valid, and our traffic study will be a public document that you will have the opportunity to review.
Because I also just want to add, where a lot of us are aware, there's going to be the massive development at the Lenardi Shopping Center, and that's going to create even more impact from a traffic perspective. So that's very concerning.
So I had four, but I have two, like a parent and an aunt that live at the Truesdale. And so I just wanna make sure that there's parking available, not just for, the people, the residents, but also the visitors that are gonna come visit the seniors, as well as the workers. Cause right now I know the Truesdale has a big issue where the workers have nowhere to park. They're not allowed to park in the tiny parking lot, they're not allowed to park underneath. So they have to park in various places all around the neighborhood, and it's really hard for them. I hear them complain, they have to run out and try to move their car, they don't wanna get a ticket. And I can see there's probably a lot of workers that are gonna be in this area, and I think that will impact, so I also live on Davis Drive.
Okay.
And then I also had a question, what happens to the dental buildings that are there, and the foot doctors and all those people? Are they gonna be in the hub, or are they gone?
So right now, they are not planned to be in the new project. We don't have any leases signed for the medical office building. That, could be a potential place for them, but right now, they're planning to, or we're planning to use their footprint for the affordable housing project.
So, do they know?
Yes.
Oh, they do? Okay. I mean, I'm just curious, cause I actually have a dentist that's there, and I have my mom's dentist there, so they're gonna go somewhere else, but they're not gonna be on site.
Yeah, there's, as I mentioned, there's 3 years runway, there's been constant communication.
Okay.
Hi.
Well, and to follow up with June's question, so what will the parking be like for the new residents, for example?
Yeah, so it's all subterranean, which is a nice feature that won't be a sea of parking here. So there's gonna be parking underneath, the affordable housing building, parking underneath the seniors building, and then, multi-level, parking garage underneath the medical office building.
Where are the entrances and exits for those parking facilities?
So the main, the existing curb cut here will serve the medical office building and the, through these two, through an entry and through these 2 access points to the garage. And then along the parking garage, there will be another, the parking lot, there will be another entrance to CHIPS, market rate, seniors housing, and I know this has been in flux, but I'm sure Serena can help me identify.
For Mid-Penn, it'll be right here, and we're actually at grade, but there's wraparound, in the front here, so you won't see the garage in the front here. There is parking here.
So your parking is not below,
It's not actually below.
It's a podium, yeah, it's a podium, so from.
And is that
Sorry.
parking
Building.
for the workers?
It's wrapped, yeah, it's part, I misspoke, it's a 1-level podium.
So
so
will
that
that
makes the
park?
building taller, then you can't start your housing until you're on it.
No, there
It's
is.
the same height, you see the heights of the building, yeah.
So will that parking accommodate all the workers that work in those facilities?
Yes, oh yeah.
So workers and residents?
Yes.
Workers and residents, yes.
Because Marco Polo is full all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna, we're not planning to use take credit for any street parking in any of our parking studies or traffic studies.
So the people across the street fill it up. And a lot of the people still, work from home, because I walk my dog there twice a day. So I can tell you, the cars don't move.
So if you take an Uber, where's your Uber drop off?
So if you're going to the hub and the medical office building, it's really convenient, right in front of the, entrance here.
Okay, what about the other
The seniors
facilities?
is gonna be right, I mean, this is right here, so it'll be right
Pardon?
For the seniors housing project, it'll be right here.
Oh.
I'm guessing from Mid-Penn there, it'll be down here, so it'll be down here.
Down there, how many spaces do you allocate for Uber at this point?
Ooh, that's a good question. We do have temporary parking. that
There's a
could be-
drop off, yeah, there's a drop off there, because in my.
So they're not gonna back up on,
No.
Marco Polo when the school gets out and all the parents are
I
there?
don't anticipate that much.
No.
At my other communities,
Mhm.
my community in San Diego has 460 units. This is 220. We've never had any issues with Ubers backing up or anything. My seniors, and the market rate senior housing project, it's been our experience. A lot of residents will have cars and very little they drive, because we provide transportation for them. A lot of the services with the hubs and minis, they don't need to leave. And there's other things coming in there that create opportunities for socialization, for activities, for exercise, for meals, dining. And so that's all provided right there. So we find a lot of people want to keep their car because they feel independent. After a year or two, many of them get rid of their cars because they don't use them anymore. And they'll be paying to have a parking stall here. And after a while, if we're not using it, and there's all the other transportation, they tend to get rid of it.
And then regarding parking, are you gonna be sharing any of the parking spaces with the hospital, with
No.
Sutter?
No.
No.
So when I walk through the hospital land right now, I see motorhomes there and trailers, people sleeping overnight for multiple days.
I hope that doesn't continue, but
Okay,
we won't have
I-
access to that.
Yeah. But, there is a lot of activity in that parking lot. I didn't know if you're gonna be adding to that activity. So I shouldn't be seeing any of your residents' cars in there,
No, not at all.
or people's
No.
multiple cars
No.
overnight.
No. Sorry,
Yeah.
you were.
Of your units, what's your maximum occupancy for each unit? So how many people are we talking about, not just how many units?
For my seniors project, we're gonna have approximately 225 units is what we're applying for. It's been our experience, my average age of residence about 85 years old. And historically, for the first 3 or 4 years, we'll be about 40% couples. Over time, that gets to be about 20% couples, where usually one spouse ends up passing away. So if you have, and we typically operate about, just because of the natural turnover, we look at stabilized occupancy at about 92%. So you take that and add 20%, and that's probably the maximum.
So it's couples, it's maximum 2 people per unit?
Exactly.
Is that for Mid-Penn's units too?
Well, Mid-Penn does have a couple of, 2-bedroom units, and those would have a maximum occupancy of 5 people. It's 2 people per bedroom plus 1.
5 people per,
For any 2-bedroom units.
and how many of your units are 2-bedroom?
So we're at, I think 8. 8.
So the whole building is only 8 that are 2-bedroom,
Of the whole 152 units, 8 will be 2 bedrooms.
and the rest are 1?
1 or studio.
Is
Sorry.
parking?
No, it's under that. I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's about 0.5.
Half of the come?
Well,
So then the overflow is gonna be around 5.
no, there won't be any overflow because.
That's the affordable housing project, is 0.5, my seniors projects is 0.8, which we found to be very adequate in other communities, given how many, with that age of the population, like I say, a lot of them will have cars, the majority won't drive, and when you charge for parking, very few, I shouldn't say very few, a significant portion don't have a car.
And we don't charge for parking, but we do require our residents to register and have, we patrol our parking lots. We have a manager living on site as well. And we have a lot of senior properties in San Mateo County, so our ratio is informed with our current properties and operations. And we often provide our residents with transit subsidies or passes or incentives to use the transportation nearby.
We do
Yeah.
the same thing for our employees and our residents. as well.
Shuttles and
Exactly.
share cars.
And
Yeah.
share cars, buses and vans to transport people when they do that. One of the beauties of this project is a huge issue for us is medical facilities, getting residents to and from doctor's office appointments, and we won't have to do that here, it's right on the campus.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. I want to thank you for the presentation, and I see it's really a pretty good sized project, and I appreciate all the effort that's gone into it. A lot of it from members of the community pushing to get some additional affordable housing there. I appreciate Mid-Penn Housing is going to be there helping with that. I'm a retired building trades member, so when I look at this, I see a lot of jobs. And I'm wondering, I mean, you know, I and 16,000 other building trades members in this county live here, we own homes, our kids go to school, we're invested in this community. And I'm wondering what opportunities there will be. I mean, are you looking at pricing, for instance? Who are you using? Who's on your construction team at this point?
Yeah, well, we have not formally hired a general contractor. We've been working with DevCon on the pre-con exercise. So as we, again, going back to the schedule here, as you know, in the industry, we still have about 30 months until construction starts.
I think that's ambitious, but that's good. Go ahead.
We need to say 40, then it's 50, so yeah.
So as we develop the design, we'll start focusing on procurement, long lead items, trades, are we going to design build, lump sum, GMP? So all those things are still in the infancy of the planning process.
So when you said DevCon, in my mind, that was the right thing to say. One of the
Good.
That's
Okay.
okay. Because I'm a union member, and that's the kind of good job I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Right, where people can afford to stay living here in our community.
Yep.
Right, and not commute from Modesto and Salinas and other places, which is bad for the environment. We don't.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the money stays in the community. Just think of all the people working there, going to lunch.
Yeah.
How many jobs is that in the area?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that I hope you have had some meetings with the Building Trades Council, and you might look at the creation of a community workforce agreement, which would make sure that the community has some security in the jobs here. It's like, there's gonna be an investment in the community, but I think that part of that investment needs to be in the workforce that lives and builds this community.
So we hear that. We haven't gone to that next stage yet, but that's, as we get our formal submissions into the city and start that process, we get to that next step of things. And
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, so I was part of the team that advocated strenuously for the increase in the number of affordable units, and I profoundly appreciate and consider it amazing, as you said, that it's now 46%. That being said, there's so little land for housing, and especially for affordable housing, that I continue to wonder whether there is an opportunity to increase the number of affordable units. I mean, I'm aware that at this point in time, none of the member cities have contributed money to the project. And so I guess my question is, if the cities were to contribute money, would there be an opportunity to add some more affordable units? And that, so that would be more for Serena, I think.
Over time, we've been looking at the site and how many units we could create and also the bedroom sizes and all of that. We've arrived at 152, and maybe for some of you who have been following the project, you might notice that we've now split into 2 buildings. Affordable housing financing is competitive, so we positioned and designed our buildings in a way where we are competitive to win. So while there's no magic science to getting to a number or to increasing a number, we have to be careful of balancing, our parking needs, our employment needs, how many units can we serve with the number of staff in our buildings. And so all of that, along with the development standards and design that we have, has informed the 152. That all kind of makes sense. It's sort of like a lot of different components we have to consider when we look at how many units we can provide on the site.
And sorry, unless you had a follow-up?
No.
Okay, all right, sorry.
And
I
we
don't
still
wanna
need,
cut
we
you-
would
yeah.
still love local funding as well. We still need to build our financing for this project as well. So I think directly to answer your question, it's not that a city's contribution would increase the units, but it would help make this project financeable.
Would it also possibly help with, lowering affordability levels, or is that strictly the work of vouchers?
The vouchers do require it. Burlingame doesn't have a program that, like a program that says if we use these funds, it would target specifically these levels. I know that Burlingame has a housing arena goal, or regional housing needs allocation goal, that they're looking at what they can do, what's in the pipeline. So I think that these interests could align, but we haven't yet had too many conversations about this.
So I just wanna say, time for 3 more public questions, but we do have our entire design team here standing by the boards that are subject matter experts, so, I would like to segue over there for some, and obviously Chip and I and Surya are here to answer questions, but let's go 3 more questions.
Question. What's your process of choosing your tenants? How does that work? Do people just apply, they meet the financial needs, right, or the goals? You have 377 units there. How many affordable, 152?
152.
You're gonna probably get about 152,000 applicants.
177.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, your applicants are gonna be immense. What's the process of picking your tenants? What's the criteria?
So
How does that work?
For the Mid-Penn portion, which is 152 of the 177 total affordable, we typically have a pre-application process. So we market and to the community saying our pre-application process is open when we're closer to the end of construction. And we will take applications over typically a 3 or 4 week period. You're absolutely correct. We get thousands of applications sometimes. I think our last senior project in Redwood City, Arroyo Green, got a few thousand. I want to say like 3. And it usually is based on a lottery. So all of those applicants, no matter when you turn in your application, whether it's the first day we open it or the last day, as long as you're in by the deadline, you're assigned a lottery number. And then we begin the process of background check, credit checks, documentation, making sure they income qualify. If there's any community preferences, they'll go through that as well.
So there is a preference for people that live in the general area. Do they have preference over somebody coming in from, let's say, South San Francisco?
There is not one yet for this project. We do see those often in our projects, though.
I'm just curious how that all works.
No, that's a great question. And then I should also clarify, I shared earlier that the project has project-based vouchers, 38. That is a different process than what I just described. The one I just described is for any non-project-based vouchers. The project-based voucher units, the referrals are from the housing authority.
Okay, so the vouchers come from the housing authority. Okay.
Would the city, as part of the approval process, have any say in that?
They could. I think typically we see the lease-up preferences, as we were just talking about, through a loan process. So if the city were to put in money, they often would say, well, we want a preference for this many
They
units.
said, well, people have lived in, Burlingame for 40 years, are applying.
They could. This will depend on a fair housing analysis.
Yeah,
We cannot
exactly.
break any fair housing laws, and so the city would work on that and see what policy or goals that preference supports.
Hi.
Hi, yes. Laura Hines, Housing for All Burlingame, part of this project, beginning, and so glad that this amount of affordable housing was able to come together. And we're hoping that the city of Burlingame will indeed rise up to this occasion, because the city of Burlingame is getting credit for these units by the state. And we're hoping that money from Topgolf in our below market rate fund already will be able to increase the affordability in your units, and hope to be working on that in the next couple of years.
One more question.
Is there any way all this information next door neighbors so we can know what's going on, if, you know, because as I said, I haven't heard last 5-6 years, I'm shocked. So if we are working, we are coming, is there any way we can put this information in the next door neighbor that we have, so we can all know what's going on in our.
Yeah, all of this information is available online, and we can give you a link to it, or if you wanna leave your email address, we can send it to you and.
Yes, I did, but
Yeah.
I wanted to, other people like me, that as I said, we share backyard together with the hospital. I didn't know. Tonight I was here for Leonardo and CVS project, and I'm shocked. So there are people like me.
Okay.
You know, if they don't know anything, if you put it next door neighbor, they will, because they read every day. But if they
Yeah,
have to go to the
we
city.
can definitely, especially as we go for, public approval, you know, there's noticings there, we can, again, we should coordinate and understand what area you're talking about, so that they're not left off the next list, the next time there's a public
The
meeting.
Ray Park around the hospital, around your project,
Around
the
the
reason
hospital,
I'm
most
saying
people don't
is
know.
that, the
Yeah,
reason
I
I'm
live around
saying.
the corner and I did not know.
Yeah.
This is the first meeting I actually attended.
Me too.
Sitting
I just
on
got
there
this
for
with
10
some other
years.
people.
This is shocking,
It's the
because
first time
we are
I
just
actually.
like,
Can I comment on this? First off, the solution right now is please sign up for our newsletter and sign up, if you can get on our list, because we mail e-blast things all the time, number one. Number two is, if you don't hear in the immediate area, we use the mailing list that the city provides for us.
we did not get it, as
So,
I said,
just-
there
and
are
we'll talk to
people
them
like
about
me,
that.
they don't get it. If you put it next door neighbor, we all get it, Ron
If
is
you have a
fine.
few minutes after this, I'm happy to talk to you about any ideas you have on.
There is
You
Yeah.
talking about next door Ray Park?
Yeah.
That's the app.
Oh, next
Next
door,
door
yeah,
app.
okay,
Next
got
door
it,
app.
got
On the
it,
website.
got it.
Not next door neighbor, but like next
Got
door.
it.
It's
No,
not
I
posted on there.
understand. Well, I think we can, in the future, we'll be sure towards noticing to capture the rate park, and I see, folks here can ensure that happens, and immediately we'll get you all the information that we have, and look forward to talking to you again in the future. All right, well, thank you, this is great, appreciate, everybody taking the time. Again, we'll, hang out over by the boards, there's some more detailed, printouts over there if you have